Mwah. What's up, YouTube? Poor Man Podcast back with another video. Today's video is going to be my husband doesn't know our baby isn't his. Okay, this is a confession from a woman whose husband doesn't know that the baby isn't his. MTR did this video first, so shout out to MTR. If you haven't seen his content, go check him out. He makes great content. We make very similar content with a few small differences, but this video was done first by MTR. Before I get into the video, I gotta do the YouTube stuff. The goal is 10,000 subscribers by June. So crazy goes, big goal is my goal. And the only way I'm gonna get there is with y'all help. You gotta give me the HBO special. You know what the HBO special is? That's the Help a Brother Out special, all right? So go and help a brother out. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. I'm gonna give y'all a second to do that. Okay, now let's get into it. My husband doesn't know our baby isn't his. Let's see what she got to say.
Kind of really eager to get into this one, but we have the guests on the line, so thank you for joining us today, and sharing this story / secret with us.
Hey, I'm very nervous. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, so I do have a baby with another man, and my husband does not know. We've been together over 7 years, and he had a reversal because he had a vasectomy from his previous ex. So he had a reversal so we could try and have a baby. And so, long story short, he thinks that this child's his baby, and that's not really short, but there's a lot behind it.
Yeah, so how old is the child now?
She's about 8 months.
Okay, so pretty recent.
Yes, pretty recent, very recent.
Man.
I have known the guy that I've had the child with. I've known him for over 14 years. Went to high school with the guy, and kind of just, I don't know, ran into him, and then kind of hit it off, I guess, and went from there. And we had been doing this for about 2.5 years now.
Oh.
The whole behind my husband's back.
These are those friends, gentlemen. All right, we always discuss this. Is it possible for men and women to be friends? I say it may be possible. It's not probable, though. Usually men are waiting for an opportunity. Usually they just waiting for a little chink in the armor so they can slide in the door. All right? Ladies, you thinking, and this is giving y'all the benefit of the doubt, okay? If you think that a man is sitting waiting around trying to be because he's your friend and he wants to hear about your problems, you're mistaken, okay? And in this case in particular, she went into it with the intentions of messing with the dude anyway. Men, be careful when your girlfriend say, oh, he's just an old friend from high school, from wherever, whatever. If he ain't been around, he don't need to be around. By the time you're 25, you got all the friends you gonna need for the rest of your life. With the exception of moving up in the world. Maybe you got to drop some people off and pick up a few new friends. But by the time you're 25, if you ain't been friends before then, ain't nobody new should be coming into your relationship or marriage talking about I'm trying to be a friend. All right. I, for one, believe that women do know that these guys are not their friends. I think they understand that these guys just do want to have sex with them usually. But if your woman is at the position, if your woman is happy in her marriage or in relationship, okay, it's usually not that big of a deal, because if there is no sexual attraction between the two, it just won't happen. Sometimes women see guys and they say, I want him to be my friend. There is no sexual attraction. It will never happen. And it's that sometimes. But then there's also the times when this happens. So it is a gamble, but you got to blame him a little bit too for allowing that to happen. You say we always want to throw the blame on the women. Like that man went at home, listening to her say, yeah, he's just a friend. He should have nipped that in the bud right there. But instead he let it continue. So you have to take self-responsibility. You have to take self-accountability. Let's continue.
But the crazy part to it is how I feel is my husband is okay if I have sex with another man. And that's even, like I said, crazier. But he was, I told him about it, but I didn't tell him that it was his child. I didn't tell him that I had done it more than once. I told him I did it once and that was it. And I know what I've done is completely wrong, but I definitely don't regret it. Like I said, my husband had the vasectomy and then he had the reversal. And
See, and that is where the delusion starts to kick in, okay? That's where when you give a woman a pass, sometimes in these relationships, men, gentlemen, you give them an inch, they take a mile. You see what she said? She said, I told him that I cheated, and he was okay with that. So now he's okay with me having sex with other men. When you forgive, and I did a video on this a couple videos back about forgiving when people cheat, and I'm not saying it's not doable. Maybe I'm just younger and I'm in that spot in my life where I can't see myself doing that. Maybe as I get older, that may be a possibility. I don't know. Y'all can let me know in the comments if y'all think that that's ever acceptable. But in my case, this sounds like delusion. I mean, in this case, it sounds like delusion. She's saying that, oh, I went out and cheated, but then I told my husband I cheated, and he stuck around and he forgave me. So now that means I could go and cheat whenever I want. And I didn't tell him that the child that we have and he's taking care of, which is roughly $13,000 a year annually to take care of a child, gentlemen. So if you've been taking care of a child for a few years, or if there's a child that may be in the air, you might want to get a what? DNA test. $13,000 a year is on you. It's the biggest investment of your life. Let's keep going.
we were trying for a long time to have a baby. And for this to happen, it was almost a blessing, but also terrible in a wrong sense, for sure.
So you clearly know this man. Obviously, you said you know him for 14 years. So you said this is what you've been doing now for 2.5 years. So this is something that you still kind of do, like you still kind of, are essentially having an affair in what seems to be an open relationship.
Somewhat, yes. My husband doesn't know about it continuing to happen, but
Somewhat.
last week actually, this other guy, he confessed feelings, and I told him, I said, I'm not interested in that. I'm married. I'm happy. I just look for a little side D, and that's about it. But that's
Nah, I just look for a little side D. No big deal. This is the thing that women are told. Just a little side D, no big deal. But now you have a child. Okay? Now you have a side child. All right? And you have to take that back to your husband now. And she's not willing to step up to the plate and accept responsibility. She doesn't want to tell her husband, and I assume it's because she doesn't want to lose those resources. Naive men, I'm trying to tell you, you do not know what lengths women will go to lie to maintain those resources. Women are survivors, and they have survived for a very long time, and they've learned a lot of manipulation mechanisms that they use against men that are naive to get over on them. So in this case, who are we blaming? We have to blame the man. She's going to do what a woman's going to do. And I'm not saying that it was okay that she went out and committed adultery, because that's what it is. But at what point do we start blaming weak men? Man, you got to learn to step up. You're supposed to be the head of the household. So if your wife comes to you and tells you she cheated on you, if you don't kick it to the curb and then she goes and does it again, who was to blame? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, who is it shamed on? Shame on me. It's just the basics. So at this point, I'm damn near taking her side, saying, yeah, you let people take advantage of you, then they're gonna take advantage of you. That's just how it works. That's how the world works. Unfortunately, people are crazy selfish. Let's continue.
That's all I want from that situation. And I mean, and I haven't heard from him since then, because I told him how I felt about that.
So do you have like a plan, like moving forward, just kind of like, when did you decide, like, I'm going to keep this a secret, I'm not going to say anything? Because I mean, you said that your husband is okay with you having sex with other people. And obviously when people are engaged in that sort of thing, accidental pregnancies happen. Do you think that he would be just absolutely crushed by this, or what is the reason why you want to hide it?
The reason I want to hide it is because I think he would be crushed by it. He makes jokes all the time about, oh my gosh, it's so-and-so's baby, it's this and that, jokes around. But I think it would hurt his pride more than anything. And I don't know how to word it, I guess, to him is the hard part.
Do you ever plan on telling him, like, even down the line, or is it a sort of
what are we doing
now
right.
or never
I
thing?
think it's more of
Eventually
a now or
that
never.
child's gonna
I
need to
should,
know.
but I have yet to do it. But if it doesn't happen now, then eventually I think I will tell him, just because he deserves to know. He's a good guy and he is okay with everything that's been going on. So
Does the father know that it's his baby?
we don't know for a fact, but I've compared pictures to previous children he's had. He's had 2 other kids, and one of them looks so similar to the one that I have. And
Man.
I asked him if I could do like a paternity test, like at home, and he was okay with that completely. But like I said, I haven't made contact with him since everything went down, and he said he had feelings. So
you don't know for like an absolute fact that this is actually not your husband's.
Nah, she knows.
I don't know, but like I said,
She
my
knows.
husband had a reversal.
Who are we kidding?
We tried for over 3 years to have a baby, and it never worked. And then I was sleeping with this guy, and boom, baby.
Yeah, odds are.
Yeah,
You're probably right about that.
And they look very similar. So
if you waited, how do you think you would react down the line? Say it was, years from now where time has passed and he's raising this child as his own, and then, you were to tell him that, because, I wouldn't say I'm on the brink of fatherhood, but I think it's something in the near future, and it's almost hard to comprehend getting that news after, so much time would have passed of raising this child of my own. Do you think that would, you said damage his pride, but do you think it would, hurt him beyond that?
I think it would hurt him beyond that a little bit if I told him later. If I told him now, it may not be as difficult for him to take that information.
Yeah, because also at a certain point, the kid's going to have to find out who his real father is as well.
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah, if you never told your husband, I guess if you, at some point, if you wanted the kid to know who his real father was, or does it cross your mind that maybe you would just kind of keep this secret forever with your husband and the kid, just kind of assuming that they're father and son?
I mean, it has crossed my mind that I would never say anything to either one of them. And it might be easier to do that, but I'm hard-headed. I don't like to do things the easy way. So I think that I would eventually go ahead and just tell them both in the long run. I think I would tell him first, of course, but to tell the child would be even harder, I think.
Listen to the narcissism, okay? And I'll let the video play out for a while because I want y'all to hear the story. I don't want to keep interrupting, and I have a tendency of doing that, so I'm trying to get better. But listen for the narcissism. The disregard of not only the man she said that she wanted to spend the rest of her life with, but the disregard of the child. Okay? You don't think that it's important for a child to know who its father is? I'll give her a little bit of pass because it's only 8 months in, so the child isn't going to know very much regardless right now. And this is the best time to get the man involved that's supposed to be the father involved. Because what is this going to do to the child if it comes to the time where it's conscious and able to have memories and remember certain things, and then you tell it then that the man that you believe is your father isn't your father. This is your father. What is that child gonna, even if you're super selfish and you're only thinking of yourself, just think of what the child is gonna think of you as a human being. The fact that you're keeping this away from your husband, it just shows complete narcissism, a complete disregard. And what is it for? This is hypergamy. So you'd rather have the guy around with resources than the other guy. That's what this is at its finest. And I try to get men to understand to what lengths women will go to preserve themselves, to make sure that they're in a comfortable position. And we can sit here and talk all day about how women do this and women do that. But if you know what women do and you continue to fall for the tricks, who's the real joker? Who's the real dummy? Let's continue.
Unless my husband was involved in that conversation.
Yeah, it almost kind of feels like now, like, because they're super young, it would be almost easier to do it sooner rather than later, because once they're old enough to kind of realize that something went on, it could, get a little more difficult in that way.
Correct. I feel like describing the situation with the open relationship. I mean, it may be easier nowadays than it would be in the past to be like, hey, your mom and dad were in an open relationship. This is what happened here.
They're not in an open relationship.
Right. Was
She
that
keeps saying
I'm
that.
curious about that too. Was that
Just because
kind
he
of from the
forgives you
start
for
of your
cheating doesn't mean you're
relationship,
in an
just
open
something that you both
relationship.
agreed on to be in open relationships?
It was not. He doesn't want to be with anybody else. I didn't for a while, and I did cheat on him in the past. And then once he found out, he was like, okay, well, we came to the conclusion, just do what you need to do as long as you come home to me, is the
Gotcha.
type of situation it was.
Right.
How far along into your relationship did that occur?
We have been together for about 7 years, and we've been doing this for about 3.
Oh man, and she's been
Is
seeing the
there
dude for
fear
2.
that the truth would come out in the near future, even if you weren't kind of prepared to say, or you didn't want it to come out, whether it's, maybe the other man getting in contact with your husband, kind of having his own suspicions or anything like that?
Yes, I'm terrified of somebody else telling him before me. So that's why I have told him about the other man. Like I said, it's been open, but I get nervous about it, telling him, hey, I've done this. And he's like, I told him about it, and he's like, I'm okay. Everything's fine. But for it to just be like, hey, this is not your baby, or at least I don't know if it's your baby or not. It's a different conversation for sure.
Is there a reason why you haven't done the test yet to find out?
I just haven't. I've been super busy with all this craziness going on and everything. I just have not done it yet. And it took me a little while to ask the other guy if he would do it, because I was nervous to be like, hey, is this your child?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You need him involved too to even do the test.
Kind of have to have his consent.
That's got to be scary too, because if you do confirm, what you assume is true, and now he knows for a fact this is his child, that's got to be scary too, for the reason I just said, of him maybe wanting the child in his life right away, contacting your husband or something like that. Do you think that's one of the reasons you're putting off the test as well?
I think so. I mean, he has seen the child, the other guy.
Wow.
Because we have met at my house and everything, because my husband used to work nights, and he has
Oh my
came
God.
here and saw the child and held her and everything. And it's
The disrespect is through the roof. I'm gonna continue the video. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but I'll continue for a little longer to see what she has to say. But the disrespect has gotten to a point where it's almost hard to listen to. I've kind of already covered what I wanted to cover as far as what I have to say. I do have some final thoughts, so stick around for those. But I'll play maybe another minute or so. The rest of the video, there's another additional 20 minutes of her probably talking about the same topic. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go check out the full video.
kind of crazy, and that's what makes me really nervous. I mean, I'm not going to be opposed if he wants to be involved, because I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but 2 dads are better than none.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of that one. She ended it by saying 2 dads are better than none. That sums up everything that I assumed about her. Her being narcissistic, her only thinking of herself, her only wanting to hold on to resources. The man is a sucker, okay? And that's on him. Who are we to blame here? Both of them are equally to blame. She wants to cheat. She wants to commit adultery. He allows her to do that. Now she's pregnant with another man's child. That's his fault, because he should have told her as the head of the household that was unacceptable and kick her to the curb. He decided not to do that, so now she's knocked up. That could be a saving grace for him, because now it gives him the opportunity to run for the hills. And that's my advice for him. Run for them hills. Because it's crazy out here. I'm trying to tell y'all better be careful. Y'all better be careful. Don't be out here being dumb, being simps, If somebody cheats, they will do it again. They will do it again. And when they bring a baby home, get that DNA test. So my advice, get a DNA test. If it turns out it's not yours, you dodged the bullet, run for the hills. Till next time.